What's up guys, it's the Sluices here, and today I've got something special planned. Today I have this special gold pan. It's an AU Gold Brush Pro Series pan, and it's a very unique type of gold pan. So I'm going to be reviewing it, testing it out, and seeing how it stacks up against your regular riffle pan. So I got this one from Dredge NZ, which is the gold mining equipment shop in New Zealand. If you want one of these in New Zealand, make sure to go check that out. Otherwise, if you're overseas, it's from usprospector.com, I believe. But yeah, that's the pan. So it comes with this little instruction guide, relatively straightforward. Fill it with material, submerge it underwater, shake vigorously, front to back, settle the heavies at the bottom. These here in the pan, this is a special feature only in this pan, these knobs, and that'll help. You can smash up hard packed clay on them when you can pack gravels, and that'll help break that up when you're panning, which is a quite cool feature most pans don't have. It may be annoying when you're spinning the material back, but I think the payoff is worth it, and that could be very useful, those. So yeah, it's got that. Then it has this standard panel for while tilting forward, work the trash material over the riffle. It just has a single riffle here, but that will still be handy, I believe. Repeat this process, and then move on to the final phase. The pan also has an interesting shape. If you see, it's not completely flat walls. The walls kind of curve under and then out here. So I believe that's better so you can get more velocity when you're spinning it round, shaking it up, and potentially panning it off in different ways. I'm not actually entirely sure. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I have some pay dirt material here. It's the material we're putting our pay dirt. This is, as you can see, all the super heavy and black sand, garnets, mineralized rocks. So that's a very nice solid test. It'll probably be valid in most situations. So we're going to use that material to pan it with, pan that material. I then have a few little pieces of gold. I have a picker, it's like a 0.03 gram picker, a chunky flake, and then a teeny little flake. Also, there's some dust in there. We could try the microfine dust. However, even though I have been through this material, I normally don't go through it, but I have been through this material, but I still think there would be microfine gold stuck in the black sands in here, so that could be a good test as well. But yeah, we've got that, and we've got a regular pan. So we're going to, first of all, we're going to see how much material this can comfortably fit compared to a normal pan. So we'll go do that now. I think that's probably how much you want to fill it, so the material's not going to go over the side when you're panning it. So we'll see how much more / less the AU pan can fit than the normal pan. So as you can see by the size of the piles, the AU pan, this isn't a massive pan, but it's a decent size, roughly standard pan. As you can see, it probably fits about, I would say, 50% more material in here than this pan, mostly because of its bigger square shape. So it is probably better for doing bigger tests than a normal pan. However, if you have a big pan, like for example the Minelab Pro Gold pan, I think it would probably only fit about the same as one of those. But it does have a solid capacity for material. Right, so there's our pay dirt there. Before I do the official test, I'm just going to familiarise myself with the pan a bit more, panning it, so I can compare it to its recovery rate and speed to a normal pan. So I'll do that now and get back to you. Right, so familiarised myself with the pan a bit more, shaked it up. These were really handy because the material was dry, so when the water hit it, it all compacted up. And these broke that up a lot quicker than it would have in a normal pan, so that was actually really handy. I've shaken it all up to the top. You can see all the regular material with all the micas and lighter quartz sands at the top. And then down at the bottom, just the very tip, you can see the line of black sands merging, which will continue under there to the bottom corner where I've been shaking it. But what I'm going to do is I'm first going to test it by putting in the picker, and we'll pan it out and see how well it recovers it if I'm panning quickly. So I'm going to add in that chunky flake and that teeny flake there. And see how well it recovers those two. I know it's got really good microfine gold recovery, because like I said, there's probably a little bit in the natural material. So you can see there's the picker there, the chunkier flake there, and if you look there, it's all microfine gold it's caught sitting on the edge of the pan. It's definitely catching that, and as you can see there's another few pieces there, and that was left in the pater even after I went through it and got everything out I could. There's another bit there, which is looking really promising for this pan. Although I cannot find that teeny flake yet, I might have to look a bit more. Oh no, there it is. Right there, you can see that's that teeny flake we put in. Chunky flake picker and teeny flake. The only reason they're not sinking to the bottom or separating is because this black sand is such heavy black sand, and there is so much of it. It's got the microfine gold, so we know the recovery on it, at least going at that speed, is very, very high. Got that teeny flake, the big one, and the little one, and all that microfine, and you can tell the recovery is good because it's panning off the lights, and the black sands are staying in the pan. It works, definitely works. And these are so handy. Might be worth the trade-off for making it a little bit harder to swim back like now, because boy are those useful. However, now for the ultimate test, speed. Now when you've got a pan and you're using it for test panning, of course you want a really good pan for recovery at the end of the day, but test panning, as well as recovery, the most important thing is speed. If it takes you 10 minutes to pan, that test pan, it's not going to be worth it. So we're going to compare how much faster / slower this AU Gold Rush Pro pan is compared to your standard Danador pan. But this is just, standard pan, and we're going to compare them to each other to see which one is faster. So we'll do that now. Also, I do realise this is less material than a full pan. However, the top stuff, like I filled up before, that's going to fill up to the top, that's just going to be light overburden. No matter where you're going, there will always be that light overburden. And you're not going to lose the gold in that stage. You're only going to lose it when you get down to this stage. That shake and stuff will pan off nice and easily either way. But here we go. AU pan. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Right, and we are done. Right, so, I'm not sure how long that was exactly. Just double checking the gold recovery is there. There's the fine gold still all sitting there, and there are 3 flakes just there on the... 3, 1, darn it, this black sand. 3 flakes, little one right there. Little flake right there. Bigger one, and the picker. So it definitely recovered the 3 flakes going at that speed. And there's still, you can see around the edges, all that microfine gold. Just sitting around the edges like that. So that was a very high recovery. And that was with the AU pan. Less than a minute, I think, that took to pan that down. And it's black sand heavy material. So we'll convert to the regular pan. which I am more proficient in as well. I've panned with pans like these for years. These were the first type of pan I've ever got. And we'll see how they stack up. Right, regular pan. 3, 2, 1. Okay, done. Right, the spin back on a regular pan is also going to be a lot more difficult because there's a lot less floor space. So this new one I noticed is really good for spinning back and viewing your gold. So you don't need to pan it down as much. This is panned down a lot more than the AU pan. Not a lot more, this is panned down the same amount as the AU pan, but it's taking way longer to separate. I do still see all the gold. There's our bigger bit, the picker, our little flake just sitting there, and then most of that micro fine gold. I reckon the big pan, not the big pan, the original pan, it's a bit better for dealing with these bigger rocks. They'll sink to the bottom a lot more in the AU pan. But we'll compare the time and see how they go. So far, I actually really liking this pan, at least for a change from a normal one. I think it would be premium to use over any pan in an area that has hard pack clay or rock. I just think, thanks to these, it makes it so much more effective. I also think it's really nice for panning off those black sands at the end. Really easy going for that. Really good for spinning back the material. Overall, I'm actually really liking this pan. I'm not sure if it can outperform your regular pan though. So we'll get the timings on that and we'll get back to you. So the final verdict is I love this pan. I reckon it's an awesome pan to pick up if you're into prospecting, to get out there and go try it in the river if you've had some prospecting experience. It gives a similar, if not better, performance to your standard gold pan, and is really solid. I probably wouldn't recommend picking this up right off the bat as a beginner, just as you need to master a regular pan first, I think. But once you've got your standard riffle pan, once you've got experience and mastered that, I would highly recommend picking up an AU pan. Very fun to use, very effective, and has some cool features. I also found out the reason why it's curved is the curve that goes into the pan, rather than out like the other side, that essentially serves as a massive riffle. So when you first pan all that tons of overburden off, you'll use that. Although I did not need to use it because we only had a smaller amount of material. But overall, I think it's an awesome, really fun pan to pick up. And if you're interested in trying something new that's just as good, if not better than a normal pan, make sure to pick one of these up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much to all our channel patrons, and thank you to Dredge NZ, and we'll see you on the next one.